Okay, we're set to go. Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today. My name is Jesse Heller. I'm the Marketing Director at Faith Business Systems Group. And today's webinar, we're discussing driving growth with marketing automation. This is about building your brand, driving demand, expanding customer relationships. Today's webinar, I'm happy to present with Doug Ricard. He's a channel manager over at Act-On Software and a seasoned expert on driving demand and building an online presence that creates revenue. So Doug, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, thanks Jesse. Glad to be here.
We're happy to have you. So quick overview. I'm gonna introduce you a little bit about Faith Business Systems Group, and then Doug's gonna walk us through our content today about marketing automation. We're going to touch a little bit about the customer journey and experience of your customers, and then discuss some strategies for growth by using marketing automation tools and tactics. For those of you who are not aware about Faith Business Systems Group, we are an Act-On consulting partner. Since we've been driving demand using Act-On for a few years now. Since we implemented Act-On internally, we've seen our leads increase something like 48%, and our sales jumped up about 30% as well since we started driving demand with successful use of Act-On. We're also a SugarCRM partner, which is the #1 global partner. And we're partners with a few other software providers, and we're based in Woodland Hills, Los Angeles. And we focus on CRM and marketing automation software. And we're known in the SugarCRM space for building a suite of SugarCRM integrations and add-on products. So you can connect your Box and Dropbox applications to your SugarCRM instance. And that's it about Faith Business Systems Group. Throughout the presentation today, Doug's going to be taking it from here, but throughout our time, if you guys have questions about anything, put them in the chat box, and we'll get to those as they come in. And any question is a good question. Don't feel shy. We're happy to help you out in any way that we can in the time that we have today. So with that, Doug, I'm going to do you want me to make you the presenter, or do you want me to just manage the slides as you go?
No, yeah, make me presenter. Let's do it that way. I think it'll be easier.
All right.
So just go ahead and pass control. Cool.
You got it.
All right. Here we go. Let's go. Monitor 1 clean. Here we go. Let's go. Slideshow and from current slide. All right. Here we go. Okay. So look, I just think that briefly it makes sense to kind of set the stage for those of you who don't really know precisely what marketing automation is. It is definitely still a growing space or sector, but it has established itself as a technology similar to, I don't know, web conferencing, email, CRM is almost like a core fundamental tool that companies need to use, are using, and if you haven't, will use. So I'll give you a brief description. Just real quick, this stat seems to come up a lot, and we talk about it a lot. But I'll kind of throw out there a little bit of context. So 80% of purchasers are turning to the web, right, for anything that they want to buy, whether it's business, B2B, B2C, pretty much all of us in any role, that's where we go. And also turning to social media to look at reviews. The bottom line here is you need to look to the web as your core bread and butter platform, and use tools that capitalize on the web and the internet being basically our global platform, if you will. So look, marketing automation is built of a bunch of tools that work together like a well-oiled machine, and these tools are built to handle certain tasks and then also to amplify each other. And I'll hit upon some real core ones shortly here, but really, so looking at this, it looks a little complicated, right? Marketing automation is a category of software, streamlining, blah, 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 measuring marketing tasks and workflows. And if you look at it here, you've got email marketing, web tracking, lead scoring, all of these moving parts, right? And then if you look at what it simply is, what it really is, it's about getting the right message to the right person at the right time. All of us need to focus on that as marketers. It's vital. If you don't, you're going to fall behind your competitors rapidly. So really, I'll talk about what that means from a practical standpoint as well. And then the other thing, to set the stage here, we want to look at what the customer journey is, and you'll hear a lot of buzz around the customer experience. Companies like Microsoft are framing their whole business around this, the customer experience. I talk with a lot of big partners that are dealing with companies on a global level, and they even have now C-level titles that are dealing with customer experience or CX, director of CX, etc. So I'll make this real simple to understand in the next few slides, but I also wanted to frame this whole thing with looking at that briefly. And another stat to set the stage here before we dive in, businesses that use marketing automation to nurture prospects experience a 451% increase in qualified leads. A lot of this is intuitive. If you're mapping out what a customer is doing from an engagement level, feeding them, nurturing them, and seeing exactly the activities that they're taking and scoring that, obviously you're going to rapidly increase qualified leads. So it's not only about increasing leads, it's about increasing qualified leads. Okay. So a couple things here. There's really 5 stages that we see as a marketer that you need to look at, capitalize on, and be very strategic about addressing. And one of them is going to be kind of this notion of the attract phase. Again, with people looking at the web as their primary place to do anything as relates to purchasing or educating themselves, you obviously need to look to the web to use as a mode of attracting people to your business, what you're saying, and what you're presenting. So at that stage, it's really kind of putting contact up online, trying to get known, feeding your customers with information, and then you move into the capture phase and the nurture phase. It's about identifying people, you as a marketer, understanding who they are by name and email address. Nurturing them is moving them into a phase where they're ready to talk to a sales rep. Sometimes that takes time. I'll talk about this in a sec. And then finally, after you convert them into a customer through a sales engagement, it's really about expanding your footprint with your current customers and making sure that they don't churn out, that your competitors don't take them, and that they feel the same way about your business after becoming a customer that they did when they were getting kind of wooed to becoming a customer. So I'll talk about that in a sec. But really, this whole thing, rather than kind of a wheel, it's really a map. And so if you think about it, again, the customer journey and the customer experience being the whole journey and then working with you as a customer, it's really kind of a map here, and you want to influence this, you want to impact it, and you want to actually affect it. Basically, if you think about it, people are coming onto this path of becoming a customer, starting with a pain point at different stages. You're not always going to have someone at the very beginning. You might have someone that was looking at a competitor, comes to you, so you've got to be dealing with them at every stage. Okay, and so kind of summarizing this section, the customer experience is the whole thing. What is their experience in dealing with you at every touch point? And you need to be thinking about every touch point. And the touch points that we're talking about are going to be around education, brand building, demand generation, lead acquisition, kind of inbound and outbound working together, and then expanding that footprint once they become a customer. I'm going to get pretty granular with this in a bit. I'm just setting the stage. Okay, so let's dive in with that stage set to talk about marketing automation and strategies to use it for growth. Okay, so you really need to start to look at this and think in the context of funnels, right? I think that funnels have been used for a while, but I'm going to tie this tightly in a second into explicitly what marketing automation is doing from a scoring perspective and from an automation perspective, but really think about this in a big picture as loosely moving people through your CRM, using a CRM like Sugar. Obviously, companies are all moving to a CRM type of situation almost without exception. We align tightly with Sugar. It's something we're deeply integrated with. But think about these funnel stages from a marketer perspective and pushing them into sales from the marketing side of the coin. So initially, the problems and the pain points are there. You're using big picture type of content, educational content, and you're feeding that content to them from your website. And then you're moving them from a stage, or they're entering a stage that's the interest stage. Then you're talking about very specific things, white papers, webinars, information on your services or your product, analyst reports, videos, etc. And then finally, when they're ready, again, this is all going to be tied to scoring. That's the bottom line. The scoring is going to tell you what stage they're in. But the actions that you guys take once the consideration stage are obviously things like setting up a meeting with your sales rep, a demo, data sheets, trials, pricing, etc., case studies, references, all of that. And so one kind of summary point, if you look across the bottom, a potential customer prospect starts with some sort of disruption. They feel that they have a gap or a need. They move into a discussion phase, research phase, deliberation, and decision. So these funnel stages I'll show you next are going to be derived based on scoring. I'll show you in a bit. Okay, so looking at this in a more specific way, and I'm going to show you screenshots pretty soon of the platform, but the top of the funnel, it's all about dealing with problem-oriented messaging, right? Messaging that's somehow around what they're likely to be dealing with as a problem. And it's also about getting information out there that's more universal. It's dealing with all of the channels that you guys have, social media, blogs, email, in a unified way, and pay-per-click, etc. But some of the messages that you can start with, and I sort of did a little sneak preview here of the platform in the right here, this is a typical automated campaign, are going to be around something like 10 tips, 5 ways to improve, 32% of CEOs say. And I'll give you a little kind of like a pro tip. I ran an online magazine for a little while and built it up to a real significant size. As an example, the Facebook business page has, I think, 70,000 Facebook likes or follows on it on the business page. And a lot of that was done with compelling content and content that was aggregated, meaning it was cold, summarized, and pulled from all sorts of different sources, not just my own, not all original content. So within the context of this engagement campaign, starting with maybe 5 messages to people that are top of the funnel that don't really have a score yet, think about framing it in this sort of BuzzFeed style approach of 10 tips, 5 ways to improve. And I guess the crux of this tip is look for websites in your sector or space that are industry related. If you're in the financial sector, look for a financial news site and look for trends. I mean, I could go look in the Act-On space and find all of the statistics around marketing automation or around marketing across a myriad of blogs. And as long as you link back to them and quote them and are proper with your attribution, just don't use a competitor. You obviously can go basically curate or cherry pick content that you want to use to educate your target buyer. Okay, down at the bottom, look at what this is from a marketing automation perspective. In this stage, marketing automation is dealing with website tracking. That means that someone is on the site and you're watching what they're doing. And as soon as they open an email campaign of yours, you have them identified and cookied based on name and email address, and you're scoring them. So all of these actions, these marketing actions, are designed not only to accomplish the big picture things that we talked about, but they're also designed to allow you to measure precisely when they're ready to have your sales rep engage etc. And so look at some of those tools, and I'll show them to you in a bit. Website tracking, the ability to watch competitors, the ability to do SEO, auditing, and then things like landing pages and A/B testing, and then also things like forms and gated content. Another little quick tip here, if you put content gates, which is also like a capability of marketing automation on your site, you're basically just allowing some people to get content with nothing required and some people to get content with a trade of their credentials. And think about when you go into Best Buy or any stores like this, they're asking you to sign up for some sort of $5 off discount, or a store like Pacific Sun or something. But basically that's so that they can get you into their database, have you go to their website, click, and get pulled into their nurturing campaigns. So think about that sort of incentive of your own. You can get really creative with this. We do iPad giveaways. Okay, middle of the funnel. This is a situation where they're actually researching and you're nurturing them. Your messaging, again, talking about it earlier, should be solution-oriented, and you should be looking at segments, and I'll talk about that in one sec. This is a way of divvying up your audience and defining them by things like title or score or sector or geography, etc. And then you can define exit conditions, and you can define when an activity or an opportunity should be created in your CRM. Like maybe they hit a certain score and take some actions, and you literally have an activity automatically set with your sales rep. All of these things are huge in terms of an ROI payback against your spend, these sort of use cases that I'm describing. And again, at this middle of the funnel, you can have people that have a certain score or higher, and your messaging is tied specifically to solutions to their pain. You guys have a problem, we have a solution. You can get creative about how you define that. Again, a different messaging going to these people versus the initial no score type people or low score where you're giving them a top 10 list and some industry trend. You want to establish yourself as a thought leader. And so marketing automation from a platform in this area deals with buying stage segments, persona segments, drip campaigns for those buying stages. And obviously you can do A/B testing across everything. You could try different subject lines, etc. And dynamic content for personas. If someone comes to your website and they're a C-level, expose different content to them than if they were an admin. Same thing goes with email. So you really want to have a content strategy across all of this. Like I said earlier, some of the content you can shortcut. And I think you can be as good of a curator and sifter as you can an original author of content, and you should have both skill sets. Okay, bottom of the funnel. This may be intuitive. I'll cover it real quick. And again, over on the right, these are different types of automated steps and programs that are allowing you as a marketer to function like a giant team of people. That's what marketing automation is set up to do. You don't want to be recreating the wheel and manually sending out kind of just a generic email blast or a generic newsletter to every type of title or persona. What'll happen is it won't really hit upon any of it, and you'll end up just having them unsubscribe from you, and you'll lose the opportunity to even message them at all. So it's really imperative that you get precise with the type of messaging. Again, earlier, remember how I said the right message to the right person at the right time. That's what this is all about. You have to do that, or else you'll lose your ability to even message. Okay, so the type of messaging here, bottom of the funnel, high score. Exit condition is going to be a sales rep has engaged successfully, and then these people are automatically pulled out of the campaign. But typically 3 to 5 messages, right, from a practical standpoint. Why choose us? Customer references, product offering, pricing offering, demo request, appointment request. This is how you should be targeting the low funnel people. Okay, and then from an MA platform, CRM sales enablement, the ability in SugarCRM for the sales rep to see exactly what they're doing, get alerts, get activities automatically based on the readiness of that lead. It's like the ideal situation for your sales reps. And you want to maximize their time and minimize their wasted time. So it's all about getting the right type of leads to them. and having the visibility to be able to sort leads by score, etc. Okay, a couple other things important here. Templates for sales. With a platform like Act-On, you can actually just tee up 30 templates for your sales reps to use, and they can send it either to a group of people in CRM, or they can send it to an individual person in CRM, and then they can actually track what people are doing, and that all funnels into their score. Okay, so let me keep going here. I think I'm just going to summarize this. It's a little bit of a busy slide, and I think we've covered a lot of it. So let's just think about the title there, the new buyer's funnel expand. So the funnel now goes deeper than just those top 3 levels, 4 levels. It now is focused on the customer experience after they become a customer. And so I'll just look at the bottom piece there, maybe that box on the right, and then the summary box on the left. So an MA platform allows you to send messaging specifically to different types of product segments that have purchased your services or your product. And you can do an onboarding drip program so that as people are ramping up, you guys are capitalizing on managing your human resources by setting up a campaign that ramps them up via email in parallel to the touch points with a person. It's vital, right? I mean, you want to be as smooth and robust as you can. Training webinars, subscription management, milestone event, exclusive content, warranty is expired. Here's a support offer, an upgrade, right? So think about that expand stage as the bottom of the funnel, or the new funnel. Okay, I'm just going to summarize this for the sake of time here. I want to move quickly. No marketing automation equals leaky funnels and bad funnels. What will happen is you'll pull some people in, but if you look at the stats on the left, like 80% of B2B marketers aren't using lead scoring. I think that's probably improved by now. Lead scoring has turned out to be so fundamental. Obviously, you need to have a weighted value to your leads. They're not all equal. If you treat them all equal, you'll waste massive amounts of time and you won't be productive. And then 65% of B2B marketers aren't using lead nurturing. Those stats may have improved by now. And so at the top left, what you want to be able to score leads, and you want to be able to nurture those leads until they get to a certain score or higher, and then you want to push those leads to sales reps. It's a lower cost proposition. You won't have sales reps quitting your company because the leads are awful and they're spinning their wheels, etc. So marketing and sales need to be tightly aligned. All right, so this kind of hammers this point home. 61% of marketers send all leads directly to sales. However, less than 30% will actually be qualified. It's kind of just a big time suck. So a couple things here. Here's a screenshot from the platform, and this is also going to show up in Sugar too. So from a tracking standpoint, we're tracking everything. And you can see down there total lead score of 181. Again, this is showing up for the rep, literally right within CRM, and the marketer on the back end. And we're tying all these things around the score. That's going to define the funnel stages, all of it. So, but you can see right there, look, you can look exactly the web pages someone's looked at. You can see if they were on the pricing page yesterday. This is all huge info and vital. Okay, and then lead scoring. I just have a sample lead score value up here. I won't spend a lot of time on it, but you've just got to weight all of your different touch points and actions to impact the score up or down. You can do minus, positive scores, etc. A summary point, the lead score defines the funnel stages. That's the bottom line. The funnel stages aren't just there without measurement. It's going to be the lead score that defines the stages. And then a typical marketing qualified lead is going to be a lead score of 40 or higher. You can use automated programs to automate anything and everything. You can use it to create alerts. You can deal with these lists based on segments like we've talked about. And you can create a task for an owner. So it's really about getting the scored leads to the reps at the right time. Okay, so one summary point on marketing automation and lead scoring. On CRM and marketing automation. Again, you have all of this data in. It's fixed data. It's related to demographics, firmographics, persona. And then you've got all the behavior data in marketing automation. And the combination of those two things is hugely powerful. So from a segment standpoint, you can tie your reporting back to your segments, and you can see how they perform. you can get so granular within Act-On that you can determine exactly what sort of revenue payback you're getting from every type of campaign, and even weighted averages for content and collateral on your website. So it's all about creating tight segments around scoring, around buying personas, triggering your very precise campaigns out to those segments and touch point, personas, and then measuring what is working and what is not working. Okay, real quick tip. 6 great segment types to have. Persona role, obviously crucial that you determine what type of people are your ideal customers, your ideal prospect, your ideal targets. The other one, another segment, is around industry, so you can tailor your message for vertical industries. It's huge. Like, let's say that you have a focus on healthcare. Obviously, your messaging needs to go to people in those roles and in that industry, and maybe your industry trend email is around the healthcare sector. The other things here, a couple important ones: product or interest, engagement, like obviously we went over that at length, geography, customer status. Are they an existing customer? Are they a prospect? What have they purchased? Et cetera, et cetera. You can dice this thing up. I mean, I have some companies I've worked with that have 100 segments or more. Okay, so here's a good activity. Build a buyer persona worksheet. Determine your buyers' backgrounds. Look at your buyers' activities and their roles. What are their goals and objectives? Ask some of your existing customers. Have them help, and really get precise with your top 10 personas, who they are, what they look like, and what sort of influence they have, et cetera, industry, products that they align to. Build that out. I'd build it out even with icons around, like define it as a person's name and what his persona looks like. Then you can wrap all of your marketing around that context. Another quick tip, and then I'll share a couple things in the platform. Put forms on your site and attract people to your site with content. Have some things, like I talked about earlier, be gated, have some things not gated, but load your site up with content, thought leadership content. It's not expensive to do that. You can take a section of your site, like a blog section, and actually make it kind of like a little mini magazine. It's not difficult to do that within a platform like WordPress. There's so many plugins and tools to be able to do such a thing. You can have categories, tips and tricks. You can have industry news relative to your industry. Just hoard stuff and build it into a knowledge hub. Okay, a couple things on the platform. We'll spend about 5-10 minutes here, and then we can wrap up. From a platform perspective, Act-On is intuitive. It's easy to use. Our user interface is so slick, and it's really kind of based similarly to like a WordPress type of interface. I've used that a lot, so I'm familiar with that, and I think the two line up pretty tightly from just a workflow perspective. So down the middle, you've got all of your major categories, and over on the left, you can expand and get more granular, but it's all about ease of use. So I like to say that we're as robust, or nearly as robust, as a Marketo, but Marketo is massively difficult to use, and Act-On is significantly easier to use. So it's kind of coming at it from that ease of use combined with power under the hood. I went over this earlier, so I won't spend a lot of time here, but this digital footprint is everything. It's basically the digital body language of your potential customer, and you're wanting to track that. You can do email campaigns to everyone in your database simply to get them to click on a link so that you're tracking them like this. I would do a campaign once I put a platform like this into place that was literally a campaign to turn people into a known prospect. So the first few emails, drip content that is impossible to ignore. I'll use a quick analogy. I get so much email in my Gmail because of different hobbies I'm into and so forth, and invariably it's the same content providers that always get me to click on their content. And it's because the content is very attractive to me. And there's a ton of others that never get me to click on their content. So you got to really think about this and pushing out things that are likely to gain attention. And it's got to be specific, right? And then from again, on this topic, marketing automation being the fundamental platform to do this, you're looking to convert people initially from being all anonymous, like anyone is on your website ever, to a huge percentage of them known, and these are people that you have in your database that you're acquiring, that you're building up, and being able to see what they're doing and score. Again, fundamental need. Real quick here on how granular you can get with scoring. So you can get in and basically build a score and a segment, or both, around exactly what people do and are looking at. So maybe you want a segment that's based on a certain score or higher, and the scoring spikes if they get to your pricing page, any of your pricing pages. Those are 3 of our pricing pages. So that they immediately move to sales ready if they ever get there. So that's kind of the thought around this. I talked a little bit about this earlier, so I won't belabor this, but segments, again, define these things in a pretty precise way, and make sure you cut across a lot of those major categories, like persona, like geography, like vertical industry, like products that they've purchased, et cetera, et cetera. Hang on one sec. Let me go ahead and mute my phone. And then you've got email template builder that's easy to use, and that's fundamental. And it's responsive design. Basically, it allows you to easily build drag and drop templates that are gorgeous. And then finally here, managing segments. I won't get into this. We've already covered it. This is just a view of the platform level. It's about building segments that are based on personas and your CRM data, and then also those more dynamic aspects, like in the last 14 days they visited a web page. We talked a little bit about this earlier, summing this up. These drag and drop automated programs let you craft these multi-step email campaigns that you use precisely and efficiently with your personas. It's all drag and drop. You can get really creative with this as well. I think, and that's it. I think